All right, here we go. Why college football's most electric quarterback won't work in the NFL. Little baby Diego Pavia. I don't know a ton about Diego Pavia. Obviously, I watched him during the college football season. Don't know much of his background at all. I know he's a little man. I know he's I know he's destined for the CFL. I agree. There's no chance he's playing the NFL. He's like a poor man's Johnny Manziel, I would imagine. Yeah, let's see what his deal is.
Diego Pavia is not going to work in the NFL. Here's why. He's 5'9" and 7/8 inches tall. His
Little baby Pavia.
arm strength caps out at an intermediate level. The traits that made him elite in college, the freelancing, the scramble drill magic, the ability to outrun linebackers to the edge, those things become a lot more difficult when every team's edge defenders run a 4-6. So why do I feel so insane saying that he's not going to work out? Part of it is I love watching the guy play. I evaluate 300 plus players every single year. Pavia is one of the most competitive dudes I've ever put a profile together for. But the biggest part, the biggest reason I feel insane saying Diego Pavia isn't going to work out in the NFL is simple. He was so good in college. He is one of 3 players ever to finish with over 10,000 yards passing.
Wait, so he's not going to work in the NFL because he's productive in college? You lost me on that one.
And 3,500 yards rushing. He finished second in the Heisman voting. He led Vanderbilt to relevance for the first time in decades. So why doesn't being a great college quarterback just immediately translate to the pros? The tricky part is that it can. Look at this chart from ZWK Football.
What is this? Best college season, EPA per play, total EPA college years. I'm too stupid to understand this. Where's Josh Allen? Pretty in the middle here. Mendoza's going to be a dog, confirmed. Yeah, I don't understand what I'm looking at.
You got how well quarterbacks played over the first 3 years of their college career on the x-axis. Then you have the best college season ever on the y-axis. The guys with incredible first 3 college seasons are clumped up on the right side here. Trevor Lawrence.
It's a pretty decent list.
Sam Howell, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Patrick Mahomes, and Caleb Williams. Seems like having a great first 3 years of your college career is a pretty good indicator you'll find success in the NFL. Then look at these guys at the top of the graph. The guys with the best single college seasons. Kyler Murray, Joe Burrow, Mac Jones, Jane Daniels, and Baker Mayfield. Seems like having one great college season is also a decent indicator you'll find success in the NFL. But why doesn't it always translate? Why don't good college quarterbacks always make good NFL quarterbacks? One
Good question. It's a really good question.
place to start answering that question is to look at the difference between the offenses that are ran in college versus the NFL. For Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt, he was running an offense built on his strengths: RPOs, misdirection, quick game concepts, and designed rollouts. That worked. Pavia was electric in that system. But the issue with that system is Pavia was almost never asked to read the entire field. His job was to read a single defender and make a play off of that. In the NFL, he's going to be
Isn't that basically just Jalen Hurts?
asked to do a lot more. Having to process everything on the field when you're used to only having to read one defender makes it fundamentally a different job. That on its own is not disqualifying them. If it was, Fernando Mendoza wouldn't be the #1 pick. There aren't a lot of quarterbacks that are being asked to make pure progression reads in 2026. So we have to keep searching for our answer. To keep looking and to try and feel less insane, I charted a group of 38 great college quarterbacks. This is a list dating back to 2014 of guys with a minimum of college best PFF grades of 80, with a few exceptions for guys that fit Pavia's stature. This data set does not include every single one of those guys, because I would probably still be putting that list together if that was the case. This is still a comprehensive list that I feel very confident about the trends it showed. Within that group of 38 great college quarterbacks are 2 subgroups. The first is quarterbacks who went on to be great in the NFL. Guys in this group have at least one NFL season with a minimum of 0.1 expected points added per play. They also have at least one NFL season with a Pro Football Focus grade higher than 83.
This video is confusing the living shit out of me. I'm too stupid to watch this video, I think.
That's our bar for great for the purposes of this video. The second is guys whose NFL careers did not match the greatness of their college careers. Guys in this group's best NFL season in which they were a starter did not result in a positive expected points added per play.
I loved Paxton Lynch coming out, and Rosen, the chosen Rosen. I was all in on both these guys.
Mark, their best NFL season also never rose above
Also was low-key a Jake Fromm fan.
70 in terms of a PFF grade. I'm going to go through the patterns I found in both groups and take you through the hypotheses on what the connective tissue is. What we end up with is essentially some theories based on a unique data set on why college success does not always translate to the pros. Diego Pavia wants to prove he can do the same thing
It's got to be mental. It has to be mental, because you got guys like Paxton Lynch who are 6'5" with cannon arms and don't work in the NFL, and then you have guys like Kyler Murray, who has some success in the NFL, who's small, doesn't have a cannon. It has to be mental traits.
did in college on Sundays. Every scout, every GM, every draft analyst is asking the same question. Can he? Let's try to figure it out before draft night. So we've got 38 great college quarterbacks in our data set. Let's start filtering. The first thing I want to look at is rushing. What was the engine of Pavia's efficiency as a quarterback? His rushing wasn't a bonus. It was foundational to everything that made him effective. The guy averaged 66 rushing yards per game in his best season at Vanderbilt. Almost 20% of his total yardage came on the ground. So let's look at every quarterback in this group who leaned on their legs the way that Pavia does. When we sort by the percentage of total yards per game that came from rushing,
how's Josh Allen not in this?
here's what we get at the top. Braxton Miller, 33.8% of his yards came from rushing. With a 4.5 40, he eventually got moved to wide receiver. Lamar Jackson, 30.7% rushing. He's projected to run a 4.3 40, the fastest guy on this entire list. And it worked. He was a two-time MVP at a
Did he run a 40? I don't remember.
94.9 career best PFF grade in the NFL. Kyler Murray had 21.5% of his yards coming from rushing. He's projected to run a 4.38. He won the Heisman, but is now headed to his second team after 7 seasons in Arizona with only 1 season over 10 wins. 82.9 was his best PFF grade in the NFL. Next, Jalen Hurts.
I'm not out on Kyler at all. And also, I don't hate Jalen Hurts. I think Jalen Hurts is a fine quarterback.
25.2% of his yards came from rushing, had a 4.59 40, led the Eagles to a Super Bowl, and had an 86.7 best PFF grade in the NFL. It worked for him too. Jane Daniels, 22.9% of his yards came from rushing. He had a 4.5 40 when he was at Arizona State, went on to become Offensive Rookie of the Year, and already looks like a franchise quarterback. Had an 89.6 PFF grade as a rookie. Then there's Johnny Manziel. 24.5% of his yards came from rushing. He ran a 4.68 40. He had 8 career NFL starts. He was done by 23. And finally,
They're the same player. Menzel and Pavia are the exact same player.
there's Pavia, 19.6%
Probably just less of an alcoholic and a degenerate, I would imagine.
of his yards came from rushing and had a 4.76 40. Pavia's 4.76 is almost half a second slower than Jackson. That is a huge difference. The rushing heavy players who succeeded in the NFL had elite speed. Lamar ran a 4.34, Hurts a 4.59, Daniels projected to be a 4.5. Pavia lacks the kind of speed that seems to translate at the next level. 546 of his 980.
Wait, so shouldn't Braxton Miller
Pavia lacks
succeed then? If he's saying it's correlated off your speed because these two didn't work, then Braxton Miller should have worked.
the kind of speed
But he can't throw the ball, so I guess that would be a problem.
that seems to translate at the next level. 546 of his 983 rushing yards were on scrambles. The rest were design runs. Those are what will not be there. He will not be able to create the space he needs to leverage his creativity. But speed isn't the only thing that people are concerned about with Pavia. It's also his height. Everyone says he's too short. Has anyone this short ever succeeded? In our entire data set of 38 college quarterbacks, only
I'm just gonna let him explain it to me this time.
guys are listed below 6 feet tall. Diego Pavia is 5'10". De'Aaron King is 5'9". In the NFL, no starts, went undrafted, and he just did not get a real shot. Bryce Young is 5'10". He's the first overall pick. He was benched midway through his second season in Carolina. His best PFF grade as a starter barely cracked 60, but seems like he's trending upward. Kyler Murray, 5'10", first overall pick, Heisman winner. Made a Pro Bowl, but has only won more than 10 games once in 7 seasons. As we mentioned earlier, 82.9 was his best PFF grade. Russell Wilson, 5'11", Super Bowl champion, 9 Pro Bowls, the most successful short quarterback in modern NFL history, but even he needed
Love it for my short kings. Absolutely love it for the short kings.
a historically great defense and running game to get his ring. Stetson Bennett, 5'11", won 2 national championships at Georgia, was a 4th-round pick by the Rams, 0 career NFL starts. And of course, Johnny Manziel again, 5'11" and 3/4.
That is not Johnny Manziel. What are we doing?
Bust, 8 career starts. Dylan Gabriel, 5'11", he's a backup for the Browns, has 10 starts and a 49 PFF grade. One of the most decorated college quarterbacks of all time, and the NFL has so far not worked out for him.
That's not true. Most decorated quarterback in college history. That's not true.
That's the entire under 6 foot club in this data set. 8 guys, 2 made it work at some level. The other 6 range from underwhelming to non-existent. Now let's expand it just slightly and look at the guys listed exactly 6 foot. Trevon Boykin, 6 foot, 0 career starts. Off-field issues derailed him before he ever got a chance. Trace McSorley, 6 foot, career backup, 1 career start. Spencer Rattler.
Don't do that to my GOAT, Trace McSorley. Don't downplay him like that. Trace McSorley is a dog.
6 foot, fringe starter, had 15 starts so far with his
Fringe starter's crazy for a Rattler.
70 PFF grade. The jury is technically out, but likely a career backup. The best outcomes in this entire group to make Diego feel hopeful, Kyler Murray and Russell Wilson. Kyler ran a 4.38. Russell Wilson ran a 4.55. Those are the 2 best case scenarios for undersized quarterbacks, and both of them have a speed advantage over Pavia. Overall, we can see that height isn't what kills you. Lack of speed is, and that brings us right back to where we started. But you might be coming back at me saying, Pavia's game isn't just built on speed. It's built on creativity, on seeing things no one else does, on being a playmaker, on being a dog. You're right, but you know who that's.
He is a dog. He absolutely is a dog. I gotta turn this heater off. Dying here.
Sounds exactly like. It's the one name that no matter how I sort and filter this data keeps coming up. Let's walk through it together. We'll start with all 33 quarterbacks. Filter 1, rushing percentage greater than 19%. We want those whose running was key to their game. This leaves us with 7 names: Braxton Miller, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Johnny Manziel, Jaden Daniels, Kyler Murray, and Diego Pavia. 7 names, down from 33, but still 2 MVPs in this group. Let's continue. Filter 2, height of 6 foot or shorter. Pavia is 5'10". We want players with similar height. Braxton Miller, 6'2", gone. Lamar Jackson, 6'2", gone. Jaden Daniels, 6'4", gone. Now we have 4. Jalen Hurts at 6'1", Johnny Manziel at 6 foot, Kyler Murray at 5'10", Diego Pavia at 5'10". 4 quarterbacks, 3 of NFL experience. 1 led the Eagles to a Super Bowl. 1 is going into his 8th year in the league. The other flamed out in 2 seasons. And the 4th, still waiting for draft night. Filter 3 was then 40-yard dash time slower than 4.6. The successful rushers like Lamar, Hurts, and Daniels had elite speed. Pavia doesn't. Let's remove those with the extra gear. Jalen Hurts ran a 4.59. He's gone by 1/100th of a second.
4.76 is tough. You can't have Johnny Manziel running faster than you. That's a tough time.
Kyler Murray ran a 4.38, almost 0.4 of a second faster. He's also gone. And just like that, we're down to 2.
They're the same fucking player. The whole video is just, it's Johnny Manziel equals Diego Pavia.
Manziel and Diego Pavia. Here's the nuance. Manziel's career ended not just because of his physical profile, but also off-field issues, partying, lack of film study, and commitment problems. Pavia has a similar partying reputation, but he seems to work harder. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Even if Pavia has a better mindset, he still shares the same physical challenges. Undersized, not elite speed, rush dependent. The traits that made him successful in college are the same ones that held Manziel back even before off-field issues. Manziel struggled to read NFL defense.
Isn't Pavia also kind of a piece of shit? Like a bit of a partier and piece of shit like Johnny Manziel? Pretty sure.
Defenses see over linemen and create separation. So the question becomes, is Pavia's work ethic and competitive fire enough to overcome a physical profile that has literally never produced a great NFL quarterback in this data set? Can the intangibles beat the measurables? That's the bet. It's a bet that I don't feel great taking. And here's where it gets complicated, because Pavia knows this. He's not running from the comparison. He's running toward it. Pavia has spoken about Manziel as a mentor. He's literally learning from the guy whose career is supposed to.
I heard that Pavia doesn't have an agent. This is the type of shit I hear. You need a fucking agent, man. You didn't get drafted. You're getting tips from Johnny Football. You need an agent.
scare him. And on one hand, it's encouraging in a way. Manziel's career didn't end because of his physical profile alone. It ended because of his inability to focus. Pavia has a similar reputation off the field at times, but the work ethic is a lot different. He's improved at every stop. He's a competitor. That's not someone who avoids hard work. And if anyone can teach him not to do that, it's Johnny Manziel. But here's the thing that keeps me up at night. Manziel isn't just teaching Pavia how to avoid the off-field mistakes. He's also living proof at what happens when a guy who is undersized, doesn't have elite speed, and is rush dependent tries to make it work in the NFL. And the lesson for Manziel's on-field career isn't I partied too much, it's that the NFL took away his legs and asked him to win from the pocket, and he couldn't do it. He couldn't
What the fuck was that?
see over the line. He couldn't create separation at NFL speed. He couldn't process a defense that wasn't giving him one read. Pavia can have the best
I
mental
mean, he had nothing there. His team gave him nothing there.
a defense that wasn't
Who's he
giving
supposed
him
to? Oh, I
one
guess he had
read.
to come back. It was a
Pavia
little
can
late,
have the
though.
best mentorship in the world. He can watch every snap of film. He can outwork every quarterback in his draft class, but he cannot add 3 inches to his height. He cannot shave 3/10 off his 40, and he cannot change the fact that this data set, this physical profile, has never produced a great NFL quarterback. Diego Pavia is doing everything right. He's learning from the one guy who knows exactly what went wrong, and that might be enough to carve out an NFL career. Backup role, a specialized package, a longer runway than Manziel got. A franchise quarterback, the data says no. The measurables say no. And the best case mentor for his exact situation is a guy who flamed out in 8 starts. The bet on Pavia isn't can he be great? It's can he survive? And that even is a long shot. You made it this far. I appreciate you. This is
He needs to go to the CFL. Diego Pavia would do super well in the CFL. Spaced out field. He can make he could have improvised plays. Don't know why I can't speak. He'd have space to be able to take off and scramble. He could make it work in the CFL. In the NFL, he's definitely not making it work. Oh, this guy thinks it's funny he got undrafted. Yeah, good video. I enjoyed that. We'll give Joe here a sub. All right, that's the end of the video. Be good, do good, God bless, and go like and subscribe and comment. Go Bills.